This is an interesting story. File this away. Now, today we are seeing, and we saw this yesterday, Democrats every day are releasing the depositions that they've taken in private. I don't know how much they're redacted. I'm going to probably spend the next 24 hours looking over some of this stuff. Today, they released Bill Taylor's testimony. Is that right? And Sunderland's testimony. Sunderland, of course, is the hotelier who gave $1 million to Donald Trump's inaugural address and then got an EU ambassadorship, which is none of what I've just said is atypical for American politics. The weird part was that he became special ambassador as well to to Ukraine. And so they've released Sunderland's deposition. They've also released Volker's deposition. They haven't released Taylor's yet. Taylor's going to drop like a hammer. They're basically giving us a preview of how they will build the case. Yesterday, they released the former ambassador to the Ukraine. Can't pronounce her name. Ivanovich something. And this is going to give you a preview of how they're going to build their case in public. They're going to have all these people back to do public testimony, and we're going to hear it. And it's going to be damning. Now, for those people who say the Republicans don't care, that it doesn't matter, I have two pieces of evidence for you today that will tell you exactly, that will show they care and why they care. The first is, do they care? Republican National Committee paid to generate thousands of calls to the congressional offices of nearly 36 House Democrats in recent weeks, an effort that was aimed at both shaping opinion around the impeachment inquiry and tying up the phone lines of elected officials. This is according to two people briefed on the effort as written in the New York Times. The calls were part of a broader effort by Republicans to influence public opinion around the investigation into President Trump. Now, I don't know how calls to Congress that are paid for influence public opinion, but they probably influence congressional offices until they figure out that these were paid for. The Trump campaign and the Republican committee have taken the lead on political messaging, defending Mr. Trump in a moment of political vulnerability using television and digital ads as well as the phone calls. The calls, estimated to number 11,000, partly intended to jam the phone lines of House Democrats, potentially thwarting access to government offices. Was known, and this was revealed at a recent off-the-record dinner. Officials with the Republican National Committee told others at the dinner about the calls, suggesting they were automated and indicating the aim was to tie up phones in Democratic offices. This is what is known as a rat effing. This is a way of attempting to make it seem like the American public is actually not interested in impeaching Donald Trump and scaring these Democrats. Hopefully, this will allow them to realize that that stuff was ginned up. Now, if you've been through any experience ever, you will know that those first impressions are hard to shake, even if you get subsequent information that would tell you that there's something to be suspicious about it. So it could impact them a little bit. The other point that I want to make about the relevance of impeachment is this. The Virginia State House and House of Delegates are up for grabs. Republicans hold a one-vote lead in each chamber. And it looks like they're going to lose control of both chambers in Virginia. The last time the Virginia Senate was up was in 2015. So it hasn't had a post-Trump suburban correction, as they call it. And the House of Delegates has new district lines in place to undo a racial gerrymander. So Democrats are looking for a pickup. Here is a race, and this is in what? HD... the House Delegate District 84, I think it is, in Virginia, where a woman named Karen Millard is running. And here is a look at, take a look at this. There's a graphic. This is a mailer. It's an official mailer that was sent out to voters. And was sent out by the person that Millard is running against, a guy named Davis. And it says, if you wouldn't support this candidate for president, points an arrow at Donald Trump and lists some, some stuff about him. Then it says, then how could you support this candidate for the House of Delegates? And points to a Millard. And it's like, false statements or whatever it is. Back it up now. Now, this is what you can anticipate in the 2020 election. The interesting thing here is that Karen Millard is a Democrat and that her opponent who sent this out is the Republican. This is how desperate people are going to be, candidates are going to be, to tie their opponent to Donald Trump. She is a Democrat. She does not support Donald Trump. But they know if they put a picture of Donald Trump with her on it, it's going to be worth votes to this Republican running in Virginia Beach or in the Virginia Beach area.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. But imagine if Karen Millard could put out a mailer that said, not only is my opponent a member of the same party as Donald Trump, but he voted to protect him from impeachment. That is what impeachment is all about. Now, obviously, it's not going to play in this House of Delegates race, but that's the dynamic. That if even on as local of a race as this, they're trying to tie the Democrat to Donald Trump, you can see the salience of even close proximity on a piece of paper, how toxic it is, or at least how toxic these politicians perceive it is.
At least in that area, right?
At least in that area. And that is the perfect type of example of an area that we're talking about. A purplish area. One where Democrats have been on the cusp of winning, but aren't quite there yet. So, and in fact, I think Millard lost this race in 2017 by like 1 point, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what's going on here, folks. All right, let's go to the phones.